There are growing calls to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview, which aired hours after he lost his appeal for taxpayer-funded UK.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
I just can't stand her. I just think she's such a phoney.
Harry's digging an even bigger hole for himself here.
Well, I think he's dug so deep now, he'll strike water any day now.
Prince William is reportedly formulating a plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles.
Oh my God, I can't even. These two, Meghan and Harry, are the worst.
She slaughtered this weekend because there were some business cards in the back of one of her podcasts. She's still using her royal title, HRH, despite our late Queen warning her again.
It's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honour to have an HRH.
Absolutely.
So the fact that she's continued to use this HRH when they've been instructed not to, I think is absolutely infuriating in Buckingham Palace. It was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family.
A new poll by Find Out Now has revealed that most of the public is supporting the king in this ongoing family feud, after Harry's bombshell BBC interview. It follows the Court of Appeal's decision to not overturn the ruling on his security in the UK.
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
He's a duplicitous, self-centered, vile, disloyal hypocrite.
Nobody expected it to get this serious, but the second whispers started echoing through Westminster, it was clear something huge was brewing. At first, it sounded like just another headline, Prince Harry throwing shade at the crown again. But then it hit, and it wasn't Twitter noise or some Hollywood tantrum. This came straight from the House of Lords, a full-on strike from Britain's most powerful lawmakers. And this time, it's not just tabloid drama. It's not some PR stunt. Parliament is moving to strip Prince Harry of his royal title, the very last thread tying him to the monarchy he walked away from. Cameras caught the buzz picking up steam. This is about more than revenge, more than scandal. It's about power, legacy, and a simple question. Can you burn every royal bridge, run off to California, sell your royal name for millions, and still expect to keep the title? Quick pause. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. You know the drill. Now back to the drama.
I would love reconciliation with my family. I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile. If they don't want that, that's entirely up to them.
We immediately went into the trenches together.
Yeah. But she said she was in the trenches. She alludes to being in the trenches when she was in the British royal family. Girl, you lived in a castle. Like, you got a princess title. People were falling at your feet. People would run your bathwater for you. I mean, I could list the perks. I could list them forever. The trenches, she has got to, the Delulu is on another level. Sometimes I envy it.
Lady who's very popular for being awful.
Prince William, he's reportedly furious after it emerged that Meghan Markle is still using her HRH title despite agreeing to drop the title when the Sussexes left royal duties.
I think Meghan Markle has been very brazen recently with the use of the HRH.
Brat, to be honest, and very, very entitled.
Harry and Meghan, they have an issue when it comes to their memory and when it comes to the truth. She is relentless, she is shameless, and she is exhausting. You are not a successful female entrepreneur.
This isn't a family fight anymore. It's a full-scale constitutional battle, and the country that once adored him, the boy who walked behind Diana's coffin, the soldier prince, is now watching him get torn down by the very system that built him. Not by the press, not by palace aides, but by Parliament itself. What once looked like a royal exit has become a national reckoning, a full-blown crisis of loyalty and identity. And if this petition passes, Harry won't just lose a name, he'll lose his final tether to the monarchy, the last shred of royal legitimacy he's still clinging to. This isn't drama for the cameras, it's not another episode in a Netflix docuseries, it's real, it's historic, and it's getting ugly. When I first heard about it, I assumed it was clickbait, another wild rumor. But it wasn't. The House of Lords, the institution that protects royal tradition, is officially moving to strip Prince Harry of the Duke of Sussex title. And that changes everything.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
This isn't some social media outrage bubbling up from the internet. This is a calculated, strategic takedown led by senior lawmakers who don't chase headlines, they make history. And here's the part that's really setting fires behind the scenes. Harry isn't just bothered, he's furious. Not shocked, not frustrated, absolutely raging. Because that title, the Duke of Sussex, isn't just ceremonial. It's his golden ticket. It gives him leverage in Hollywood, status in business, and opens doors in every room he walks into. Without it, the mystique disappears. Strip that away, and you strip away everything. This isn't a warning shot. It's the first domino in what could be a complete collapse of Harry's royal identity. And watching Parliament take these steps feels like the establishment finally reaching its limit. No more silence, no more second chances. The message is loud and clear. The prodigal prince is about to get cut off for good.
We'll see King Charles do this because he's not confrontational. I don't think that he likes the fact that he's been accused of racism towards his grandchildren in Omid Scobie's book. So I think he's going to continue to tiptoe around.
This isn't just one bold lawmaker trying to make a name for themselves. It's becoming a full-blown national takedown. The petition didn't just get attention, it exploded. Tens of thousands signed it within days. From Sussex to Scotland, people across the UK are standing up and saying the same thing: enough is enough. And this isn't just background noise anymore, it's a movement, and Parliament is not watching from the sidelines. Both the House of Lords and the Commons are stepping in. They're not just nodding along, they're actively pushing this forward. That's when I realized this isn't symbolic, it's not for show, it's got real bite. They're reaching for a law so old it was last used during World War I, the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917. Back then, it was used to punish royals who sided with enemy nations. And now, even though Harry's actions aren't treason on paper, to many, it feels just as serious.
But of course, the real measure of success for both of them will be the same as it always has been. How much damage can they inflict on our royal family, on our monarchy? I said it before, I'll say it again tonight. King Charles should strip them of all their remaining titles and cast them out from any connection to the royal family. How could any of them trust them, as far as I could throw them? Because without it, they're just whining millennial windbags with a permanent victim complex, knowing that victimhood is what makes them all the money.
People are fed up, plain and simple. They've watched Prince Harry tear into the crown, criticize the monarchy at every turn, and still profit off the royal name like nothing happened. This isn't just seen as disrespect anymore, it feels like betrayal with a price tag. And now, that frustration is turning into something official. What began as public outrage is becoming legislative action. Parliament is listening, not just nodding, but moving in step with the people. And when both the public and the government are aligned like this, one thing becomes clear: there's no turning back.
But Kinsey, you recently interviewed a friend of the royal family, Hugo Vickers, who revealed the late Queen was so fearful of Harry and Meghan that she wouldn't want to be alone with them. Let's just take...
There is no trust when it comes to Prince Harry, and the picture he tries to paint with Queen Elizabeth, even saying during that BBC interview that the Queen wanted him to have this level of security, we're finding out the truth, and it's that she was bothered by them.
Now this is where everything starts to spiral. Harry didn't leave the UK to live a quiet life. He got loud. And not just in interviews or documentaries. He threw himself straight into American politics, and for the royal family, that's a massive red flag. Royals are expected to stay neutral, to stay out of the political arena entirely. But Harry? He did the opposite. He publicly criticized the First Amendment, aligned himself with partisan causes, and started backing movements that directly conflict with the values of the very institution that gave him his title. And now, lawmakers have a brutal name for it: title laundering. They're accusing Harry of using his royal status to push political agendas overseas. That's not just awkward, it's a serious constitutional issue. British royals are never supposed to interfere in foreign politics, especially not in a country like the United States. But Harry is doing exactly that, all while still calling himself the Duke of Sussex.
Now, Meghan, just last week, she did her first long-form sit-down podcast interview. She showed a basket that she had sent to the host of the podcast as a thank you for allowing her to come on. And here you can kind of zoom in here and it says, with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex.
It's no longer whispers behind closed doors. Members of Parliament are going public, and they're asking the question out loud, the one everyone's been avoiding. Why is a foreign duke getting involved in American politics? This isn't just seen as bad manners anymore, it's being called out as dangerous. Because if royal titles start getting used as political weapons, the foundation of the monarchy itself starts to crack. Harry might have thought he was just speaking his truth, just sharing opinions, but Parliament didn't see it that way. They saw it as a direct threat, a warning shot. And now, they're firing back. Not with interviews or PR statements, but with law, with centuries of royal history, and with a level of fury that says they're done staying silent.
Major breaking news out of London. Buckingham Palace announcing Harry and Meghan will no longer formally represent the Queen. That means they will no longer receive public funds and they will stop using their royal titles. Those changes will take effect this spring. So, Katie Nicholl is now joining.
It's my pleasure. It's a big news story. As you can imagine over here, it really has, the phone hasn't stopped ringing, put it that way.
And in terms of your initial reaction to this latest news, that in fact it feels like it's a full removal in the sense of not just senior royal duties, but
if there's one thing Harry has held onto since stepping away from royal duties, it's his relentless drive to tear down the monarchy. From the explosive Oprah interview to the Netflix series to his tell-all memoir Spare, it's felt like family betrayal has become his full-time brand. At first, the world listened. People were curious, but over time, even his strongest supporters have started backing away. Because he hasn't just shared his side of the story, he's gone scorched earth. He's turned on his father, his brother, his stepmother, even the late Queen. That's not healing, that's destruction. And now Parliament is saying what many have quietly believed for years: you cannot burn the royal house down and still expect to keep the keys. It's clear Harry has been using his title as a shield, keeping the royal shine while lobbing attacks from his California mansion. But that strategy has run dry. These repeated, very public hits have crossed a line. Lawmakers are calling it symbolic treason, not a crime in the legal sense, but a blatant insult to the very institution that once protected and elevated him. The monarchy may have stayed silent for years, but Parliament is done waiting. This is their response, and they are not holding back.
A progressive new role within the royal family. While the royal family does modernise, the Queen sends tweets, it is an age-old institution, and I think that idea of tradition and everything we expect of the monarchy doesn't quite sit well with that idea of
what the monarchy means for the monarchy.
Well, people are talking about it being a constitutional crisis, and I'm not sure it is a constitutional crisis. Through circumstance and the Cambridges having 3 children, Harry slipped down from being the spare to the heir to the 6th in line.
Let's be real. Harry's reputation in the UK is collapsing fast. The latest polling shows 62% of people want his title stripped. Among older voters and conservatives, that number jumps past 70%. Even Labour supporters, who are usually more sympathetic, say he's finally crossed the line. This isn't just tabloid fatigue or royal drama burnout, it's a nationwide rejection. Across the political spectrum, the message is the same: the title no longer fits the man. And for Harry, that shift is more damaging than any headline.
A new poll by Find Out Now has revealed that most of the public is supporting the King in this ongoing family feud, after Harry's bombshell BBC interview. It follows the Court of Appeal's decision to not overturn the ruling on his security in the UK.
But here's the real gut punch. People in Sussex, his own...
Across the UK, dukedom residents are flooding the petition with signatures, and one elderly woman summed it up better than any politician. He doesn't represent us anymore. He represents himself. That line stuck with me because it cuts to the core of what people are feeling. Sure, Harry's still seen as a star in America, but back home, it's a different story. People don't feel let down because he left the royal family. They feel betrayed because he left, trashed the monarchy, and kept cashing in on the royal brand. You can't have it both ways forever. And now, even the people who once defended him have turned away. This isn't just about one scandal, it's the buildup of years. The interviews, the leaks, the non-stop media tours, all aimed squarely at the crown. Public opinion hasn't just shifted, it has collapsed. The British people are done. Parliament isn't acting in a vacuum, they're echoing what's already roaring through the streets.
There has been a crisis in the Windsors, not least how the Sussexes chose to release this news, but also the narrative that we've had in the fallout that the couple were very unhappy, that apparently it was a very toxic environment, particularly for Meghan.
Brothers surrounding Prince Harry and Prince William, and what this change in senior roles for Harry and Meghan means for that particular relationship.
Well, Harry and Meghan didn't step back from royal life, they rebranded it. Every deal they've signed, from Netflix to Spotify to children's books, isn't built around their names, it's built around their titles. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex is stamped on everything. That's not a coincidence, it's a calculated strategy. The royal branding is the product, and in the UK, people have reached their limit. They see through it now, and they've had enough.
When the stakes are this high, doesn't it make more sense to hear our story from us?
Oh, shut up. What do you mean the stakes are this high? Who do you think you are? Other than a latte-munching imbecile living in luxury in California while the rest of the world's a cost of living crisis, moaning and whining about an institution which gave you the titles on which you now trade millions of dollars. What are you talking about? What stakes?
Critics have a name for it, title trafficking. Using royal clout to sell books, shows, and their public image, all while claiming to live a private life. Even their children hold titles, despite their public claims of stepping away. The hypocrisy is loud, and people are finished pretending not to see it. This was never a quiet exit, it was a calculated branding move. And now, Parliament is stepping in with a clear message: if you want the fame and the money, then drop the crown.
Now, a staggering 2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH titles.
Royal titles are supposed to carry meaning, tradition, and responsibility. But Harry has turned his into a marketing gimmick. And for a lot of people watching, it's not just cringe, it's downright disrespectful. And here's where things take an even more ruthless turn.
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
He's a duplicitous, self-centered, vile, disloyal hypocrite.
While Parliament moves in to strike, Buckingham Palace remains silent. King Charles isn't stepping in to defend Harry. He's keeping his distance, letting the institution handle it. He doesn't want to be seen as a father punishing his own son. He wants this to look like a decision from the system, not a family feud. It's all about optics. And Prince William? Reports say he's done. No objections, no sympathy. Behind the scenes, he's giving this a quiet thumbs up. Because for him, this is bigger than family. This is about defending the crown. Picture it. Harry walks into an event, and instead of hearing His Royal Highness, he's greeted as Mr. Harry Windsor. That isn't just a name change, that's a brand collapse. If Parliament succeeds, he loses everything that links him to royal power, the influence, the status, the mystique. All gone. What's left then? A man more known for drama than duty. The interviews, the deals, the documentaries, all of it has been propped up by the royal illusion. Strip the title, and what's left are two celebrities selling pain, not legacy. Parliament sees it clearly. This isn't just about tradition, it's about cutting the power at its root. And yes, there is precedent. In 1917, King George V used this same law to strip titles from royals who backed enemy nations. More recently, Prince Andrew lost everything after the Epstein scandal. No one is above the institution. The logic is simple. If you attack the crown, you don't get to wear it. And now MPs are saying it out loud, he's not one of us anymore. And truthfully, they're not wrong.
With King Charles on his way out, Prince William is expected to take over the crown. And apparently at the top of his list is to say, "Peace out, Meghan, you're done." And he plans to formally strip Meghan Markle of her royal title.
It's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honour to have an HRH.
Absolutely.
So the fact that she's continued to use this HRH when they've been instructed not to, I think is absolutely infuriating in Buckingham Palace. It was agreed with Queen Elizabeth that they will not use the HRH title. That is a long-standing precedent, and there's good reason for it. Basically, the HRH is only given to working royals and senior members of the royal family.
How can someone trash the monarchy, turn it into a business, and still expect to keep the titles? That's the question echoing through Parliament, and now they're done asking. They have the law, they have the public behind them, and they're making their move. This won't end in scandal headlines or dramatic press conferences. It will end in cold paperwork, quiet chambers, and legal motions that carry the full weight of a centuries-old institution. When the title goes, so does the fairy tale, the shine, the illusion. Harry may soon learn the hard way that when you walk away from the crown, you don't get to keep the jewels. After the interviews, the memoirs, the podcasts, and the lawsuits, this could be the moment the system slams the door shut. And in a way, it's poetic. He didn't just leave the monarchy behind, he torched the bridge, then tried to sell the ashes. Now the same institution he mocked is pushing back, not with noise or drama, but with the one thing he can't buy, legitimacy. Strip away the title, and what remains? Not a prince, not a hero, just Harry, a name that once carried weight, now fading fast. He wanted to be a global voice, a truth teller, a victim. But in the process, he may have become something far worse, irrelevant. And this petition isn't just about royalty, it's about consequences. A final verdict, not from tabloids, but from the very people he once claimed to represent. And now the people are shouting back, loud and clear, "You don't represent us anymore!" That line isn't coming from tabloids or politicians, it's coming from the public. And maybe, for the first time in this entire saga, Harry doesn't get the last word. The crown remains silent, but its message is unmistakable. It's speaking through Parliament, through centuries of tradition, and through decisive action. And what comes next might not just change Harry's future, it could bring the entire House of Cards crashing down.